Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayana Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistike. So continuing with the discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 84, the sages' teachings at Kurukshetra. Text number 55 onwards. So yesterday we studied how Vasudevji performed the Vedic sacrifice, and then he took his Avbrat's land after the sacrifice and combined with his wives. He gave so much of donation to everybody. Bandhun sa daran sa sutan, pari barahin bhuyasa, vidarbha kosha lakuram, kashi kekaya srinjayan, sadasyartvik sarganan, nribhut pitri charanan, Shri Niketam anugyapya, shansantah prayayo kratam. With opulent gifts, he honored his relatives, including all their wives and children. The royalty of the Vidarbha, Koshal, Kuru, Kashi, Keke, Srinjay kingdoms. The officiating members of the assembly and also the priests witnessing demigods, humans, spirits, forefathers, and charans. Then taking permission from Lord Krishna, the shelter of the goddess of fortune, the various guests departed as they all chanted the glories of Vasudev's sacrifice. Dhritarashtra Anujah Partha, Bhishma Drona Pritha Yama, Narado Bhagwan Vyasa, Suhrit Sambandhi Bandhava, Bandhun Parishwadya Yadu, Sohrida Klina Chetasa, Yayur Viraha Krachrena, Swadesha Chapare Janaha. The Yadus were all embraced by their friends, close family members, and other relatives, including Dhritarashtra and his younger brother Vidura. Pritha and her sons, Bhishma and Drona, the twins, Nakul and Sahadev, Narad and Vedvyas, the personality of Godhead. Their hearts melting with affection, these and the other guests left for their kingdoms, their progress slowed by the pain of separation. Nandastu Saha Gopala, Brihatya, Pujaarchita, Krishna Ramo Agra Senadhyar, Nevat Sidvan Dhut Vatsalaha. Nand Maharaj showed his affection for his relatives, the Yadus, by remaining with them a little longer, together with his cowherds. During his stay, Krishna, Balram, Ugrasen, and the others honored him, and with especially opulent worship. Vasudeva Anja Sotirya Manoratham Aharanavam Suhrida Vrita Pritamana Nandam Aha Kares Prashan. Having so easily crossed over the vast ocean of his ambition, Vasudeva felt fully satisfied. In the company of his many well-wishers, he took Nanda by the hand and addressed him as follows. Shri Vasudeva Vacha, Bhratri Shapkrita Pashu, Nrinam, Yasne Sangita, Tam Dustirjam Aham Manye, Shuranam Api Yoginam. Shri Vasudeva said, my dear brother, God himself has tied the knot called affection, which tightly binds human beings together. It seems to me that even great heroes and mystics find it very difficult to free themselves from it. Heroic leaders of men try to transcend their petty attachment by force of will, while introspective yogis pursue knowledge for the same purpose. But the Lord's illusory energy, Maya, is much stronger than any conditioned soul. But obviously, here the affection between Vasudevji and Nanda Maharaj, it's a spiritual affection. And the center of that affection are both Krishna and Balram. Asmasva prati kalpeyam yatkrita geshu saptamay Maitriya arpita phala chapi na nivarteta karmichit. Indeed, the Supreme Lord must have created the bonds of affection for such exalted saints as you have never stopped showing matchless friendship towards us ingrates, although it has never been properly reciprocated. So this is humility of Vasudevji. Of course, Nanda Maharaj is a great saint, great devotee, but he's saying we are ungrates, we are ingrates. That's not true. Pragakalpa cha kushalam, pratarvo nacharamahi, adhuna shrimadandhaksha, na pashyama pura satah. Previously, dear brother, we did nothing to benefit you because we were unable to. Yet, even now that you're present before us, our eyes are so blinded by the intoxication of material good fortune that we continue to ignore you. While living under the tyranny of Kansa, Vasudeva was unable to do anything to help Nanda and his subjects defend themselves against the many demons sent from Mathura to kill Krishna and Balaram. So this is what he's saying. We were unable to defend you, we were unable to help you. But he's saying, but even now our eyes are blinded by the intoxication of material good fortune. So this is humility. This is humility. Vasudevji is never intoxicated by material good fortune. Maharajya Shri Rabhut Punsa Shreyas Kamasya Manata Swajananut Bandhunuva Na Pashyati Yayan Dhrik. O most respectful one, may a person who wants the highest benefit in life never gain kingly opulence, for it leaves him blind to the needs of his own family and friends. Here it is written, it's of course out of his deep humility that Vasudeva is berating himself. But this condemnation of opulence is in general valid. Earlier in this canto, Narad Muni delivered a stinging criticism of Nalapuvar and Manigrave, two wealthy sons of Kuvera, the treasurer of heaven. Intoxicated by both pride and liquor, the two had failed to offer proper respects to Narad when he happened upon them as he sported naked in the Mandakini river with some young women. So it happens with when somebody gets material opulence, it makes him blind. Shri Shukavacha, Evam Sohrid Shatilya, Chitta Anak Dundupi, Sururo the Tatakritam, Matrim, Smarana Shru Vilochana. Shri Shukdev Goswami said, his heart softened by feelings of intimate sympathy. Vasudeva wept. His eyes brimmed with tears as he remembered the friendship Nanda had shown him. Nandastu Sakhya Priyakrit, Premna Govinda Ramaya, Adyashva iti Mansastri, Yadubhira Manito Avasat. And on his part, Nanda was also full of affection for his friend Vasudeva. Thus, during the following days, Nanda would repeatedly announce, I'll be leaving later today, and I'll be leaving tomorrow. But out of love for Krishna and Balaram, he remained there for 3 more months, honored by all the Yadus. So he stayed there for 3 more months. After settling that, he would leave first thing in the morning. Nanda would then decide, oh, I'll go later today. And then when the afternoon came, he would just say, I'll stay until tomorrow. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur suggests one possible reason for his procrastination. Nanda secretly intended to bring Krishna back with him to Braja, but did not want to break Vasudeva's heart. Thus his indecision continued for 3 months. Tata Purimana Savraja Sahabandava Pararthya Bharana Shoma Nana Narthya Parichate Vasudeva Agra Senabhyam Krishnodhava Baladivi Dattamadaya Paribarham Yapito Yadubhir Yayo. Then after Vasudeva, Ugrasen, Krishna, Uddhav, Balram and others had fulfilled his desires and presented him with precious ornaments, fine linen and varieties of priceless household furnishings, Nanda Maharaj accepted all these gifts and took his leave. Seen off by all the Yadus, he departed with his family members and the residents of Braja. According to Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, at the end of the 3 months, Maharaj Nanda approached Krishna and told him, My dear son, for one drop of perspiration from a divine face, I am ready to give up countless lives. Let us leave now for Braja. I cannot spend any more time here. Then he went to Vasudeva and told him, my dear friend, please send Krishna to Braja. And of King Ugrasen, he requested, please order my friend to do this. If you refuse, I'll have to drown myself here in Lord Parshuram's lake. Just watch, if you do not believe me. The people of Braja came to this holy place not to gain some piety on the occasion of solar eclipse, but to get Krishna back or die. Hearing these desperate words from Nanda, Vasudeva and others tried to pacify him with valuable gifts. Well versed in the arts of diplomacy, Vasudeva consulted with his most trustworthy advisors and then satisfied Sri Nanda by telling him, my dearest friend, the king of Braja, it is of course true that none of you can live without Krishna. And how can we allow you to kill yourselves? Therefore, by all means, I must send Krishna back to Braja. I'll do so right after we accompany him and his relatives and friends, among them many helpless women, back to Dwarka. Then the very next day, without trying to obstruct him in any way, I'll let him leave for Braja at an auspicious time of the day. This I swear to you 1,000 times over. After all, how can we who came here with Krishna go home without him? What will people say about us? You are a great scholar in all matters. Please forgive me for making this request of you. So Nanda Baba is very simple, but Vasudeva is a Kshatriya, so he knows the art of diplomacy. Next, Ugrasen addressed Nanda Maharaj, my dear master of Braja, I bear witness to Vasudeva's statement and take the solemn vow. I will send Krishna back to Braja, even if I have to do it by force. Then Lord Krishna, joined by Uddhava and Balram, spoke to Nanda in private. He said, dear father, if I go directly to Braja today, leaving aside all these Vaishnis, they will die from the pain of separation from me. Then many thousands of enemies, more powerful than even Keshi and Arishta, will come to annihilate all these kings and their kingdoms. What will happen? Since I'm omniscient, I know that what is inevitably going to happen to me. Listen and I'll describe to you. After returning to Dwarka, I'll receive an invitation from Yudhishthira and go to Indraprasth to participate in his Rajya sacrifice. There I'll kill Shishupal, after which I'll again return to Dwarka and kill Shalva. Then next I'll travel to a place just south of Mathura to save you by killing Dantavakra. I'll then go back to Braja, see all my old friends and again sit in your lap with great pleasure. Indeed, with great happiness, I'll spend the rest of my life with you. God has written this fate on my forehead and it has been written on your foreheads until that day I return, you must tolerate separation from me. So when Krishna would speak like this, obviously Nanda Maharaj will accept, okay. Convinced by all these arguments that his son's happiness was of prime importance, Nanda accepted the gifts offered him and took his leave, accompanied by the Yadu's large army. Nando Gopascha Gopyascha Govinda Charanam Bhaje Manakshiptam Punar Hartum Anisha Mathuram Yayu. Unable to withdraw their minds from Lord Govinda's lotus feet, where they had surrendered them, Nanda and the cowherd men and women returned to Mathura. Bandhushu Prati Yateshu Vrishneya Krishna Devata Iksha Pravrisham Asannam Yayur Dwaravatim Punah. Their relatives having thus departed and seeing that the rainy season was approaching, the Vrishnis, whose only Lord was Krishna, went back to Dwarka. Janebhya Kathayam Chakru Yadudeva Mahotsavam Yadda Sita Tirtha Yatrayam Suhrit Sandarshanandikam. They told the people of the city about the festive sacrifices performed by Vasudeva, Lord of the Yadus, and about everything else that had happened during the pilgrimage, especially how they had met with all their loved ones. So when they came back to Dwarka, So this was the main conversation among everybody. So thus ends the purpose to 10th canto, 84th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled The Sages' Teachings at Kurukshetra. So can we believe we have completed 84 chapters? Only 6 more chapters left in this canto. So we can start next chapter, 85. Lord Krishna instructs Vasudeva and retrieves Devaki's sons. Shri Badarayana Ruvacha Athekad Atmajo Prapto Kritapada Vivandano Vasudevo Vinandyaha Pritya Sankarshanachito. Shri Badarayani said, one day the two sons of Vasudeva, Sankarshan and Achyuta, came to pay him respects, bowing down at his feet. Vasudeva greeted them with great affection and spoke to them. Muninam savachah shrutva putriyor dham suchakam tadvirya jata vishrambha paribhashya vyabhashata. Having heard the great sage's words concerning the power of his two sons, and having seen their valorous deeds, Vasudeva became convinced of their divinity. Thus, addressing them by name, he spoke to them as follows. So, in Kurukshetra, he had heard what the great sages had to say about Krishna and Krishna's glories, Krishna's powers. So he spoke to them, spoke to Krishna Balram. Krishna Mahayogin Sankarshan Sanatan Jane Vamasya Yat Sachat Pradhan Purusho Paro. Vasudeva said, O Krishna, best of the yogis, O eternal Sankarshan, I know that you too are personally the source of universal creation and ingredients of creation as well. So they are the source, Krishna or Balram. In one way they are saying. They are the source and the ingredients of creation as well. Everything comes from them, comes from Krishna only. Yatra yena yato yasya yasmai yad yatha yada syadid idam bhagwan sakshat pradhan purusheshvara. You are the Supreme Personality of God, who manifests as the Lord of both nature and the Creator of nature, who is Mahavishnu. Everything that comes into existence, however, and whenever it does so, is created within you, by you, from you, for you, and in relation to you. That sums up everything. So everything that comes into existence is created within you, by you, from you, for you, and in relation to you. So nothing is separate from Krishna. Nothing is outside his control, and nothing is outside him either. To casual observers, the known world appears to be produced by many different agents. A good indication of this conception is language itself, which traditional Sanskrit grammarians explain as reflecting the visible diversity of nature. In the standard Sanskrit grammar taught by the sage Panini, the verb expressing action is taken to be the essential core of a sentence, and all other words function in relation to it. So here it is said, everything is for you, by you, from you, everything. So that is why many times we hear these Mayavadis or Nirakarvadis, Nirvisheshvadis, when they explain, oh, in the beginning there was sound, and from sound everything came into existence, and even God comes like because they don't say God, whether Krishna or Ram, the king. So if in the beginning there was sound, what is the source of that sound? If everybody is sitting still, not moving, will there be any sound? Nothing. To make the sound, we have to do something. Either we move our lips or do some striking somewhere so the sound is produced. So how can sound be there without anything? But this is Somehow they just believe it. Oh, there was sound. Where did sound come from? But Brahma Samhita says Krishna is the origin. Anadir Adir Govinda. Sarva Karana Karana. Anadir. He has no beginning, and he is the beginning of everything. People can say, where did Krishna come from? Krishna doesn't have to come from anywhere. He's there, always there. Because he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He's the source of everything. But even to get a glimpse of this fact, it's so difficult. But they easily believe the sound was there. Yes, sound was there. Where did sound come from? And for sound to travel, there has to be some medium. So the medium has to be there. Where did that medium come from? They don't have any answers for that. Etan nana vidham vishvam atma srishtam adhokshaja. Atmanano pravishyatman prano jivo vibharshaja. O transcendental Lord, from yourself you created this entire variegated universe. And then you entered within it in your personal form as a super soul. In this way, O unborn Supreme Soul, as a life force and consciousness of everyone, you maintain the creation. So this is Vasudevji is telling Krishna and Balram. When creating the material universe, the Lord expands himself as a Paramatma or super soul and accepts the creation as his universal body. No material body has any reason for existing without some Jiva soul desiring it for his enjoyment. And no Jiva can independently maintain a body without the Paramatma accompanying him there for guidance. So this universal form as Krishna or Paramatma is a soul of this universal form, a universal body. So without him, nothing can exist. Prana dinam vishwasrijam shaktayo yah parasyata paratantrayad vaisadrishya dvayo shreshtava cheshtatam. Whatever potencies the life air and other elements of universal creation exhibit are actually all personal energies of the Supreme Lord. For both life and matter are subordinate to him and dependent on him and also different from one another. Thus, everything active in the material world is set into motion by the Supreme Lord. Because without Paramatma entering each and every atom of the universe, activity does not take place. And without him entering the heart of, or along with the soul, the heart of each and every living entity cannot function. Kantis teja prabhasakta chandragnyarka akshar vidvidyutam yatasthariam bhubritam bhumi vrittir gandho arthato bhava. The glow of the moon, the brilliance of fire, the radiance of sun, the twinkling of the stars, the flash of lightning, the permanence of mountains, and the aroma and sustaining power of the earth, all these are actually you. Of course, nothing can happen without him. In Shveta Upanishad, it states, Na tatra suryo bhati na chandro tarakam. There in the spiritual sky, the sun does not shine, nor does the moon, the stars, or lightning as we know them, what to speak of ordinary fire. It's by the reflection of the spiritual sky's effulgence that everything else gives light. And thus through its radiance, this entire universe becomes luminous. And this spiritual sky's effulgence comes from where? Krishna's body's effulgence. Tarpanam prana napapam devatvam tasya tadrasa oja saho balam cheshta gatir vayu staveshvara. My Lord, your water and also its taste and its capacities to quench thirst and sustain life. You exhibit your potencies through the manifestations of the air as bodily warmth, vitality, mental power, physical strength, endeavor, and movement. Krishna gives a glimpse of all his potencies, or some part, a spark of his splendor in Bhagavad Gita. Dishantam avakashosi, Disha comes forth, Ashraya, Ado varnastam kara, Akriti nam, Prithak-kriti. You are the directions and the accommodating capacity, the all-pervading ether and the elemental sound residing within it. You are the primeval, unmanifested form of sound. The first syllable Om and audible speech by which sound as words acquires particular references. So he is a primeval. Primeval means the original, the source, unmanifested form of sound. So when Nirakarvadi says, oh, in the beginning there was only sound, this is what it is. But they don't want to believe in the form of the Lord. Indriyam tva indriyanam tvam devasya tadanugraha avabodho bhagwan buddher jivasyanu smriti satu. You are the power of the senses to reveal their objects, the senses presiding demigods, and the sanction these demigods give for sensory activity. You are the capacity of the intelligence for decision making and the living being's ability to remember things accurately. So even without Krishna's sanctioning, we cannot even remember things. Krishna says that in Bhagavad Gita also, that from me comes remembrance, forgetfulness, and knowledge. It comes from him. And we think we are somebody very important. What if we sleep at night and in the morning when we get up, we forget who we are? It's only by mercy of Krishna that he lets us remember things. Otherwise, if we forget, then what are we going to do? Can't do anything. Cannot generate that memory by eating some pills or something. Nothing. If Krishna doesn't want, he cannot have anything. It's just his mercy. He lets us remember things and can carry on with our lives. So anyway, I guess we can stop here. See anybody has any questions or comments. Okay, so you all have a safe, sweet, wonderful day. Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Prabhupada.